Welcome everybody. We're back at Everybody Struggles. We got a very intricate, interesting guest, my brother Jeris. He is an actor, he's a model, he's an athlete. You know, he and I have a great common love for Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, of course, 2020 champions.
All day, forever.
But I just wanted to, thank you for sitting down with me and, getting down here and actually talking again about this stuff. I know a lot about you, the world doesn't, so if you can tell the world a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you're currently working on.
Of course. I'm someone who's always invested in making myself and achieving ultimate greatness, and for me that's becoming someone who is fully realized and understands what he's here for, how he can share his gifts with the world effortlessly, and also receiving as many gifts as possible from the people that I come into contact with in the world. So that, first and foremost, that's my main goal. Aside from that, I've realized in my life that I'm a storyteller. I can make a story come to life like few can, I believe. Right. And with that, I've decided to use that gift and become an actor, because I think that's how I can affect the most people, right. Make a substantial financial gain without really exalting myself, because I believe this is just my natural gift and ability. And also I just have a ton of fun doing it. So right now I'm coming off a ton of auditions for series regular roles on various TV networks. Yes, thank you for the praise, thank you for the affirmations, because I definitely need them. It's a tough business, a lot of competition, but ultimately the only competition is really myself. So yeah, other than that, I'm coming off of a lot of really cool shoots. I just did a print ad with Zales. Where is it? Zales? Zales? With Zales, I did a 2-day shoot with Insecure, a show that a lot of us are very familiar with, and I'm happy to be a part of the final season and get to express myself in that medium. And I'm always excited for whatever else comes down the pipeline. This road is an intricate one, like you said, and right. I'm always open to whatever challenges may come my way.
So tell us a little bit about who Jeris is, where he's from, growing up.
Yeah, I'm from New York City. You already know Harlem is where Harlem made me, Harlem World. But I also spent a considerable amount of time in the Bronx. I spent a considerable amount of time in Brooklyn, in Yonkers. Shout out DMX, rest in peace, God. Appreciate all the blessings you blessed us with over the years. Right. And if I could just touch on my man X for a second, he was the first hood nigga I've ever seen star in a movie and really kill it. I'm talking Romeo Must Die.
It's one of my favorite movies. Rest in peace,
man, you already know. I can go on and on and on, but he was really one of those guys now, and I appreciate his, him just sharing his life. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in Yonkers, went to high school up there. So yeah, I got a good round tour of what it was like to be a New Yorker. But ultimately, I didn't feel like I was going to become myself there. I think I know actually I went through a lot of adversity. It made me, but ultimately I needed to separate myself from what I knew in order to become what I was destined to become.
Right. So tell us a little bit about growing up in those different neighborhoods, different boroughs, and what it was like to be from there and then transitioning to LA.
Of course. I spent a time in the various neighborhoods in New York, primarily because I was moved around because of foster care. My mother growing up was someone who, she hadn't figured out what her life was about yet. And speaking to her in my adult life, I come to realize that because she didn't have the right kind of love in her life growing up, as she grew up, she started to look for the wrong kind of love from various men. And those men took her on paths that maybe she wasn't completely intent on going down, like crime and drugs and things like that. And that had an obvious effect on my childhood and my upbringing. So I have my earliest memories of my mother are visiting her in halfway houses in Harlem, visiting her in jail with the jumpsuits and everything. I have vivid memories of me being home at our apartment in Harlem and getting a random phone call, and it's my mother in jail giving me very specific instructions on what to do, who to call, where to bring the money, things like that. And that was my upbringing. And eventually that ended, and I was taken into foster care with my little sister, who was deaf and mute. So sign language was our primary way of communicating. My brother, who's older than us, by 8 years, didn't have to go through foster care because he was about 18 around that time. But yeah, I spent a lot of time bouncing around because we just couldn't find sustainable placement for both of us. Someone who could, a family or a home situation that could provide for her needs and also deal with this angry, sad, discouraged black kid, little black boy who was just trying to find love and figure out what life was all about, and also take care of his sister who needs a lot of attention and love, and also provide for himself and protect himself in all these various situations where you don't know what people's intentions are all the time.
That's definitely true.
So yeah, to spend a lot of time bouncing around, just kind of finding the right space to survive in. And eventually my sister was taken in by my aunt, who we had previously lived with in foster care. And that was a blessing because I didn't have to worry about her anymore. But at that time, it dawned on me that I had to really take care of myself now and grow up fast. I was 13 at this time.
Wow.
And yeah, life was happening fast. I had a lot of hard lessons that I was learning and that I would learn. And it took a long time before I figured it out, how to just be a happy, wholesome, loving person who could receive and give. So foster care was a reason for a lot of my moves.
So actually, it's crazy. You said dealing with some hard stuff. My next question is, what's the hardest thing you had to deal with in your life? And I feel like you kind of elaborated on that, but if you can go more in depth at that.
Yeah, of course, I'd love to. I've dealt with a lot of adversity, tremendous adversity. I mean, from foster care to loss, losing my brother, losing my sister eventually, aunts, cousins, friends, having to reinvent myself on the fly every stop of the way, having to keep myself safe from all kind of different predators and situations. But I think the biggest challenge that I faced was getting out of my own way and tearing down my walls eventually when I didn't need them anymore. Because like I said, surviving was more or less a skill that I had to really hone, that I had to sharpen. And when I moved to LA eventually, I had to kind of tear down those walls because I didn't need that hardened sense of survival skills to get through my day to day. So that was pretty tough, but deeper than that, if I may, dealing with depression. Dealing with depression was putting that in the rear view was probably one of the toughest challenges because I was an angry kid for a lot of reasons. I tried not to be angry at my mother because I understood she was just doing what came naturally and whatever she felt like she had to do to provide and protect for us when she could. And I realized that there were things that I had to do that I wasn't always proud of to survive and provide for myself and my sister. But when the dust settled from all those things, and I realized that I had grown up in a system that didn't prepare me for the world and didn't prepare me to thrive at college or thrive in any relationship that I would have with a female, or just thrive in a very quiet, lonely space when there was no one around to entertain me. And the wall started to cave in on me. I had to really find the strength and the encouragement to really want to live and to want to keep going and to want to, find that reason why I'm here and find the reason why I should stay here and find the reason why I matter. So yeah, that was one of the biggest challenges. It took me years and years and years before I got to any place where I could start to build a solid foundation.
So what did you do to get to that solid foundation, like overcoming it?
It's an amazing question. It's an amazing question. One of the biggest things that happened for me was the ability to move to California and rediscover myself, take my physical self out of the circumstances that kept plaguing me and reminding me of the life that I had and the life that I might continue to have if I just stayed in that environment, which was New York. And the other thing that helped me change my life was I discovered acting. And for a long time, I knew deep down that I wanted to be on television. I knew that I grew up a Disney kid, and I wanted to be one of those kids like on those TV shows, like A Bug's Life and Figure It Out with the slime and all
Doesn't he look like the Disney character right now?
Thank you. But but I never knew it could happen. I never knew how to make it happen. Growing up in the hood, you're trying to survive all the time.
Right.
And you can't really share your dreams with anybody, your deep dreams, because they're just gonna shut them down. You know how it
Judgment.
is. Exactly. But when I got here, I realized that, I could maybe make this happen. Like, I mean, I meet people who say they're actors every day. Why can't I do it? Like, And so when those ideas started to circulate in my mind,
Right.
I think the universe began to open up those channels for me. And before I knew it, I was on photo shoots and meeting people who'd taken a liking to me and wanted to see me succeed. But even then, it was years before I had the focus, before I had the self-confidence, before I understood what it really meant to be an actor, to not just want to be seen, and not just want to be heard,
Right.
not to just want to be impressive and rich and famous, but to really make change and be a storyteller, and to help people see something that they can't see for themselves, to help people escape from their hard times and all the things that great actors are, like a storyteller, a philanthropist, an anthropologist, a psychologist. You know what I mean? It all goes on and on and on.
Right.
Actors are such great people when they really want to be. And so when I realized that that's what it took, I knew that I would have to dig deep inside myself to be okay with the person that I am, so that I could present myself to the world in a very authentic way, so I could tell real stories and tell them with authenticity. And so when I got all that when I understood all that, and I went to class and I started to really open myself up, I realized that I was so closed off from all the years of building walls and trying to protect myself from the hurt and the letdown from other people,
Right.
that I'll have to let all that go and start to work on myself and heal and forgive and love and genuinely be okay with who I am and the mistakes that I made, and start to forgive myself, most importantly, and
Right.
eventually all the people who I felt had hurt me and let me down and things like that.
Right.
And so when all those things were starting to take place, I began to heal and feel really good about the life that I had lived and the things that I've been through, understanding that they all gave me such great lessons that helped me become a better actor, a better person, a better man, and just put me on the path to realizing why I'm here and giving back.
Right. So we're gonna dig a little deeper.
Deeper, he says.
So I know that we talked about foster care, in and out of homes with mother, family, sister, even your brother. What are some of the life struggles you've had additional to some of the things that we talked about?
Aside from loss and foster care and finding myself, I mean, there are a lot of issues that I think surface, some things that you don't even realize, issues you don't even realize you have until you start to dig within yourself and uncover things and discover things and take a look at that. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know I was like, I don't like that anymore. I'm putting that away.
Right.
So on that journey, I realized like there was a lot of things about me, about my relationship building, and my relationship keeping, that really needed work, especially with women. I had been let down by the most important women of all, my mother, countless times, and that had an effect on me so profound that I hadn't even realized that I was not recreating those relationships with other women in my life, but I wasn't able to really express myself and enjoy and really receive the kind of love that I might have been able had I had already been privy to those experiences early on with my mother. So, just basically growing up in the hip hop era where, women are B words and S words and all kind of words other than their mother, the names their mother gave them, and trying to be the man in front of your guys, and you know what I mean? Like, it's always a contest, like who can get the most girls. Like, that was my reality.
It's a measuring contest.
Yeah, that was my reality, and that was my experience, that was my upbringing, and it's not right or wrong, but
Right.
growing up, I understand that I can make better choices, and I'm trying to make better choices. I am making better choices every single day. I put my best foot forward. So having like positive relationships with women is something that I struggle with. And of course it starts somewhere, and that's having a positive relationship with myself. So that's another thing too. Like, do I love myself? Like, do I accept myself? Like, am I okay when I hear no a bunch of times, like in an audition situation? Do I still have the self confidence and the self worth, the high self esteem to keep going and knowing that it's not me, it's not me. I got what it takes. I got what I need. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Right.
And the one that I'm gonna have is gonna be there when it's time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not getting down on myself because things aren't going my way, or some girl doesn't want to take me out, or some casting director doesn't want to hire me. It's not about that. It's about I'm on my own side, and I'm okay with who I am, and I got what I need, and I'll have everything I need when the time is right.
Right.
So that's one of the big struggles, like just being okay with who I am and loving myself.
So what did you do to overcome that? Like to develop a better relationship with women and, you know, within yourself too as well?
I had to change my thinking. Change my thinking. You got to change your circumstances, and that doesn't just mean where you are. It means who you're around.
Right.
You know, so hanging around people that weren't serving me, weren't serving my higher purpose, weren't serving my the attitudes and the affirmations that I was putting out into the world. You know, I might have to skate on those people. You know what I'm saying? It's not personal, but it is personal because like I matter. And if I matter so much to myself, then I got to put myself in the ultimate position to succeed in all ways, not just financially, but like in here too. So that's like around the time I started hanging out with people like you, people who are thinking on a deeper level, people who are, of course, man, of course. Like we all gotta give our roses and smell them like willingly. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about like praising nothing. It's about like, yo, we're here. Let's like make it matter. You know what I'm saying? So hanging around people with you definitely helped me broaden my horizons and just like see what really matters and understand like what's at the deeper level, as you like to say.
You gotta dig deep.
You gotta dig deep. You always gotta dig deep. And another thing that really helped me was reading up on Black history. You know what I mean? My girl Angela right here, like reading up on her story and her struggle, how she took on the government as a strong Black woman who just wasn't gonna take the unfairness passed down on the courts. All the things that it takes to understand like what women have and the value that they bring into our worlds just helped me kind of change my thinking. And it starts there.
That's beautiful. So the next question that I wanted to ask you is, and I think this is something that we all kind of deal with, what are some of your daily struggles? What's holding you back from your fullest potential?
Daily struggles, man. My daily struggles are, if I'm getting real deep here, and I think we are, right? Smoking too much weed. Smoking too much weed. I did it. I said it. I smoke a lot of weed. Why do I smoke a lot of weed? I believe that it helps me stay calm and even keel when I'm getting too high, or I might be getting too low. I can change gears real quick. It helps me just kind of stay even. It helps me relax because I run real high, and I got a lot of energy. It's hard for me to settle down, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep. But if I'm being honest, like we are here, it's definitely that one element in my life where I know I can do this, and I know that all these things won't happen. And I definitely click that button because I know I've been working hard. I earned it a little, like. But it's like, well, all I have is time, and sleep, and fun, and you know all this other crap aside. How am I really going to use it?
Right.
If all I have is time, how am I really going to use it? So if I had 2 extra hours that I could have if I wasn't smoking, or smoking turns into, you know, overeating, smoking turns into, you know, procrastinating, playing video games, you know, blah, blah, blah. I didn't read that book because I got high and went on Instagram, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What can I do with those 2 hours? Every single day, for a week, for a month, for a year. You know what I'm saying? So smoking weed is a struggle of mine, something that I'm like, I'm going to smoke because I'm kind of tired right now.
Right.
As opposed to like, let me dig deeper and do a little more writing, read that script one more time, you know what I'm saying? Something else I struggle with is just staying locked in It's a little easier as I'm getting older because I understand what's important and what's not.
Right.
And I understand I see the goal so clearly now that I understand I gotta read that script one more time because I know that other actor is not gonna dig deep like I'm gonna dig deep. I gotta get the juice, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, if I'm being honest, I could go a little harder. Like, I got a manager, I got an agent, I got a team of agents, print, commercial, theatrical, manager who's killing it. I'm doing my thing,
Right.
and I could rest on all that and just say it's gonna happen, or I could tighten my boots a little harder, stand up a little straighter, you know what I mean, and go a little deeper. And I think I could. I know I got another gear or two.
So speaking on that, what are you doing right now to overcome those obstacles and challenges as far as smoking and being able to do more?
I tell myself every day today's the day I'm gonna quit smoking. I tell myself every day that today is the day I'm gonna quit smoking. And a lot of times it's bullshit. But I believe that when I let it out and I make it real, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like,
Right.
might be today, not tomorrow, but it's gonna happen. And I believe that I'm very close. It might be today, honestly. It might very well be tomorrow. And I might be very fresh and ready come Monday.
Right.
I mean, I already don't drink, so it's not like I got a whole lot of other distractions going on.
That's true.
But like I said, I know I got another gear, and weed is probably holding me back from reaching that next gear. So I try to make it real for myself every day and remind myself, like, this is something you got to do, and this is something that
Right.
that will serve you. Another thing that I do to eliminate the idea that I could be doing more is actually doing more.
Yeah.
Like, I wake up and I'm like, okay, what can I do today? All right, you know what? I got this amount of time. I got to be here for this audition or that meeting. So in that time, I can read this book, and then I can do a little house workout. And after my house workout, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to write. I'm going to write a little monologue. I'm going to start a little monologue anyway. And at least that way I already have those juices flowing. Another thing that I like to do too now is write every day in my journal, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even before bed, even if I only got enough energy for one sentence, I'll write, today was a good day. I did my laundry, thank goodness. I ran into a little squirrel. He looked at me kind of weird. That was kind of funny. And yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow. Or I might write in pages and pages and pages about the detail of my day. But the fact is, I write every single day. And that puts me in the practice of, like, doing a little more, spending a little time with myself, letting out whatever frustration or anything that I might have had picked up that day. And just getting in the habit of writing every day. Because I do eventually want to write the book of my life. I think it's a story that will help not only myself, but a lot of people around the world. And that'll help me get the practice in. So
Nice.
just actually trying
Put it in the
to
work.
do more and putting in the work is the most important thing.
That's beautiful. Hey, I mean, you put in the work. The crazy thing is you work hard, God will bless you with more than what you've already got.
Indeed. When he sees you can handle it all, when the universe sees you can handle it, have more then. There are no bounds.
So, Jeris, you've been through foster care, traumas with family. You've dealt with, transitioning from being super hard to learning how to be a little more softer, moving to LA, like all this stuff. What's your outlook on life now because you've been able to grow into this person that you're into now?
Word, man. First of all, fam, I ain't never soft, all right? Always hard.
I said softer.
Harlem in the building. My outlook on life is beautiful. I'm really proud of the person that I am. I really am. I can look in the mirror and I can say I'm proud of myself. And it's powerful. It's not always easy.
Right.
But it's powerful and I enjoy it. Right now. My outlook is this. Time is all we have. Bad things happen all the time to everybody. How you gonna handle them? Dig deep. If you want something, fight for it. Don't make excuses.
Amen.
And most importantly, what would Kobe do?
Mamba mentality. That's how we live.
I bleed Mamba blood. That's just it. I bleed Mamba, and that's it.
Yeah. So my next question is, given that you are where you are, what's your ultimate goal in life?
I was about to do some funny shit. I'm gonna keep it real though. My ultimate goal is proving all the haters wrong because they were wrong. Not kidding.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
My ultimate goal is fulfilling and exceeding my potential.
Short and simple. I love it. So my last and final question, and it's one of my favorites. If you were to give someone advice that looks like you or that has experienced the same things as you, what would you tell them?
Someone that looks like me or has experienced some of the same things that I have, I'd tell that person, get an agent. Aside from that, I'd tell them that you've got what it takes to make it through anything that you're going through or will go through. Believe in yourself. Because you got it.
I love the message. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. It's always been a pleasure. Let them know about your social media and to follow you.
This camera, that camera, that camera. It's Jeris Dupree. Simply put, my name, Jeris Dupree on Instagram. You can catch me on there, follow my story, my journey as an actor and a storyteller, as a man, as a person, as a human, as someone who wants to reach the heights that few people have. Not necessarily in the glitz and glamour side of it, the material world, but in the critical thinking world. So thank you for sharing time with me.
Thank you, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, make sure you write them down below. Thank you again.
I just want you to know